Okay, so this is the topic of this video. This is where she will live. I have a front sight post ring on the way. We'll pretty much complete that, whole end of it. Really, I have some other shit that's going to go on the handguard, and I might replace the rail and shit too. But as far as the sighting system and light systems go, this thing and a front sight post ring are going to be it. I like this thing, really. The other one of these I had was from Haley Strategic, and it didn't have this little lever on the side. At least I don't think it did. If it did, I never figured out what it did. But what it does is it makes it constant on instead of momentary. And like, I don't know if this thing's gonna hold up long term, but like people seem to run them and like them, so they must work. Like I think it's kind of like, is it surefire? No. Is it streamlight? It's probably at least on that level, and at least by the feel of it and shit, assuming that they didn't cheap out on shit. And again, by the amount of these that I've seen, and some of the people that I've seen start using them and then not stop using them, I'm gonna give it a try. Uh, I'm gonna get the bigger one too for this gun. This light in particular, as I build this rifle out more, I am replacing the barrel and the bolt carrier group and the buffer and the trigger. Might build a gun, you know. Uh, I might buy a lower and an upper and a rail. It's like I'm going to replace this rail with a KE Arms one, and I think I'm probably going to get a KE Arms one for whatever I build too, because I'd be paying to have it put together. And why would you pay to have a gun put together with a rail you're going to replace? It's a waste of money. Don't do that, kids. Other thoughts. I mentioned the front sight post ring already, I think. That's why I'm doing this. That's why it's on the top. It's a ring that goes around this thing that has a front post on it. It sounds exactly like what it is. And I think that's going to give this thing kind of a sci-fi look. I really would like to get the ALG bayonet mount, and a Manta tack wrap is already on the way. So I'm going to do the Manta tack wrap, the ALG bayonet mount. Geisley bayonet now. I mix those two companies up because I don't understand why they're two companies exactly. I think one of them is like the wife's hobby company projects or something, because some stuff on there is kind of weird. And I think it's like someone at that company, I don't know if it's the wife or the daughter or somebody, is a chick that has cool ideas, because there's a lot of stuff that's in purple there or something. And there's several things that I've noticed have a feminine touch at ALG. That's why I buy shit there. I like it. Also, them being Geisley, everything they make is really high quality. Trigger wise on this gun, I'm going to get a Geisley Super Dynamic 3 gun. And I'm going to do that because I'm setting this thing up with a 20-inch barrel and a bunch of other shit. It's to be a specific thing. And I want the Super Dynamic 3 gun. It's a really light trigger. It's a really light trigger on a combat rifle. That's not exactly what this is. You know? Wolverines! Like, this is like a movie prop that blasts bullets at the range, right? Basically, my thoughts are, with a 20-inch barrel, a drum mag, and a Geisley Super Dynamic 3 gun, you have essentially the poor man's light machine gun. You're welcome. That might be useful. Maybe. It's more useful than a rifle. Okay? And like, this is some of the things you need to think about is like, how are you going to employ some of this? What are you going to be fighting against? And what are your answers to those problems? And this gun, I'm making it a rifle. It's meant to be a rifle, but it has a couple of tweaks that make it good for doing other shit with too, and more fun for me because I like shooting 20-inch barrels and I like light triggers. So, yeah, this is my ultimate Space Marine blaster build. I love that I have this upper. This upper is a billet upper, but it's from Bear Creek. So like it's like the most ghetto ass ghetto billet upper ever, which makes it look kind of sci-fi and different and cool, right? Because like it doesn't look like a normal AR-15 up top. It has a kind of funky look to it. And it needs a dust cover, and I'm going to put the new Magpul one on it. It needs a dust cover because the one that came with it with the Bear Creek is literally garbage. Literally garbage. Don't buy Bear Creek, folks. Like I think this thing works, and that's one thing you can say about Bear Creek. I think the vast majority of their uppers run. They are not the nicest thing in the world, though. I bought this Bear Creek because when I was buying this gun, that was the only upper I could get, and I wanted to have another AR-15, and I was lucky to get what I got. So now we're taking this turd and polishing it. That's what this video really is. Like, or these videos on this rifle. This is turd polishing because that's what this gun kind of is, in my opinion. Uh, the lower is aces. The upper receiver, even I think, is pretty aces. The barrel is not something I would want on a like go-to rifle. The rail is not something I'd want on a go-to rifle. The upper, if I was not doing a sci-fi blaster build, I'd throw this shit in the garbage and have painted the other one. Okay, I wouldn't even be painting this gun right now. But because it's going to be a sci-fi blaster, I think this kind of adds something to it, so I'm going to leave it. And it saves me money. And I get to paint it now. Lots of things. That has nothing to do with the Inforce, though. I'm wanting the bigger one because it's twice as bright. And I don't know that that's necessary, but I at least want to play with it. And since I already have this one, why not? And I'm basically going to build the leftovers gun of this one's parts as a like XM177 carbine version of this same gun. So you'll see it, but it'll have a smaller inforce with a sight on it and fucking red dot and a collapsible stock. And like I'm gonna do a lot of things different on it, but it's going to be like if this is Space Vietnam's M16, I'm gonna use the leftover parts from that one to make Space Vietnam's carbine. I have a vision in my head. This barrel is 16 inches. However, Spike's tactical. Man, my mouth is dry. I shouldn't vape so much. Got cotton mouth. The 16-inch barrel can take the Spike's tactical fake can that goes back over it, and like this will just be a range blaster thing. I don't care if it has a muzzle device. It's like it's the reverse. It makes it nothing but muzzle blast. I like it. I like having it in the bag of tricks at least. And it looks cool. That's what I'm building here. I'm building things to shoot that look like sci-fi blasters because that's what makes me happy right now. I always wanted to do this to guns, and I never did it because I was trying to preserve their value. But now that the world's ending and we're all going to die, Wolverines. That's, I've been watching a fucking, what's it called? Starship Troopers. I'm watching Starship Troopers and Aliens a lot, and Starship Troopers, my God, it has a lot of bearing on our fucking road to hoe. I think everyone listening to this should go watch Starship Troopers and realize that we're about to get sold on being Starship Troopers. Probably to fight China and Russia, but same as. The only good bug is a dead bug. Fuck. God damn it. I had a gnat fly into my nose out of nowhere. Like, it is Oklahoma. We have a gnat problem. It's statewide. Basically, every fucking year they get in my house in the summer, and if you have water, they continue to exist. And there's water somewhere in your sink or in your toilet or whatever in a glass you left out. Like, they find it. They don't need much. I wage war on the gnats. But the thing that kills them every year is happening now. It's starting to get cold. And as soon as it gets cold enough outside to where you have to wear a coat, I open up all the doors and windows. I turn off the air conditioning and heat. I turn on the attic fan and I hold my cat Church and we sit there and freeze. We sit there and freeze for several hours and then we don't have any more fucking gnats. Like that's my solution. That's my ghetto ass ghetto solution to the gnat problem. It's, I've tried fighting them. There's no use in it. Winter is coming, you know, for those of you who are Game of Thrones fans. Not really that big a fan of that show. I watched one episode of it. They cut some guy's dick off, and I'm like, I have a talent of picking the correct episode to watch of a show. The episode I watched of that Scottish time travel show. Uh, she's a nurse. She's in World War II, and she goes to the 1700s. I don't really know the details of it. It's called something. Anyway, the one episode of that I watched was all gay prison rape. I was like, no thanks. Yeah, as it turns out, that's not really my thing. Believe it or not, like, there's a demographic of men that like to fuck me that I think that is their, like, I don't know. I don't know what they think. I don't care what they think, to be honest. I think that's one thing that a lot of people should get about me in general is I don't care what you think. That's why I have, fucking art on my god. And I'm dressed like Carol Baskin and talking about fucking Red Dawn live on the internet because, to be honest, every fucking day that goes by, we stray further from God. That has nothing to do with the Inforce WML, but like this isn't a review. I just bought this and I'm just playing with it, and these are my initial thoughts. And my initial thoughts are that I like that I can have it constant on. And I think this is badass, which I already like. It's cool to see it come to fruition. I can't wait to see this thing with a 20-inch barrel on it and the correct muzzle device, and the super dynamic 3-gun trigger is going to make it look a little sci-fi too because it has that lightning bow. That's not even my taste in guns. I actually prefer triggers like this. They make a trigger that's a super dynamic trigger that has that trigger face on it. So like, you're like, why not get that one? The lightning bow is kind of cool. It looks cool. Like that's this whole gun. This whole gun is not what is practical. Like I'm trying to make it as practical as possible while also making it a sci-fi blaster. Which I know that's a lot. I'm a lot. Okay, my rifle needs to be a lot. This is Moon Tiger. You know, welcome to the fucking space Vietnam. I'm your Carol Baskins. It's the end of the world. Why not? See you guys later. Like, I don't have any other thoughts on the M4 WML, and that's a really good note to end on. So, I like